You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening, it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. And welcome to this week's edition of The Mountain Gardener, your host, Ken Lain, every week, talking about the landscapes of northern Arizona. And let's see, this week, it is summer now, officially. So it's kind of nice. It's my favorite season. I know some of you love winter. Some love your spring flowers. I love the heat, the outdoor activities, the swimming, all the boating, all the travel time, the downtime, everything about summer, I love. It started, I think, when I was a kid. The family would get in a station wagon and log like 3-4 weeks as they drove around the country. We drove from Virginia to Canada to Wyoming to New Mexico and all the way back in one trip. And so it just kind of fond memories of that. Whole family, my brother, my sister, whole family. It was just camping, a lot of camping. And so I'm drawn to summer. Some of your plants are the same way. They love summer. They love the heat. They love the community. They love getting in the station wagon and driving around the country with you. They just love everything about summer. And so you're seeing plants right now, your golden locust or honey locust. It's a yellow tree. It's got real small leaves. So locust, anytime you hear the word locust, you know you got a strong tree. The reason being they got small leaves, and so they just don't perspire. They don't lose a lot of moisture out of their leaves, and they don't get wind damage. So the smaller the leaf, the more they tend to not get torn or ripped. And so some of these great big leaves, like a sycamore or a big maple, especially red maples, like Acer rubrum, the one that's in the East Coast, it can tend to be wind torn, especially when it's small. It's exposed. Once it gets large enough, it starts to protect itself. And so the autumn blaze maple, that's the preferred one that we sell here at Waters Garden Center because it's a big leaf maple. It's the fastest growing of all the red maples. It's a true shade tree. I mean, it gets fast right now. And so, but it does not get leaf tear. So wind whipped. It doesn't get that wind rock, you kind of going through the leaves, ruckus through the canopy, and then tearing the leaves when it's young. It doesn't do that. It's got more scariated, more indentations. There's something about the leaf that just releases all that energy from the wind. And so it's a better tree. Yes, other maples will grow here, but you don't just want any, you want the best one. If you want a fast-growing red maple, that's the one. Fast-growing yellow-leafed maple is going to be silver maple. They're both the same. In fact, they're crossed. They're actually cousins of each other. That's a good, strong tree. I think that's part of the reason that Populus tremuloides, trembling leaf poplar, also called aspen. So an aspen, the reason that it takes our wind so incredibly well, because the leaf kind of trembles. So it releases all that energy. So the wind never gets a chance to rip the leaves in two. So it's a much preferred tree for that reason. Birch is another tree that's very much like that. It's got the white bark of an aspen. It's actually, I find, more drought hardy. It's tougher. So in the same landscape, one tree, an aspen, the whole bed is like stressed out, and the aspens will actually get stressed out more than the birch will. And so I think there's a root structure there, something about it, and the wind. So a birch has a similar leaf to an aspen, but kind of more elongated, but it's got serrated edges, whereas an aspen has a very rounded edge. So the way it releases all that energy from a windstorm is it just trembles, whereas a birch has got more serrated edges, so just kind of the wind just kind of goes through it and doesn't let it get torn up. And so you kind of want to think in those terms. If you just go to your box store and just grab whatever because it was cheap, well, it might not be the right one for your backyard, and you don't know until you're like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years into this. You're going, I don't know what happened. I'm going, well, yeah, you wasted 5 years of your life trying to grow this stupid tree that should have never been sold up here in this marketplace to begin with. I feel better. Thanks for letting me vent like that. I appreciate that. So many things I'm embarrassed sometimes. Just go, no, that should not be sold out of a warehouse. They should not have that. There's no way they're going to take that to their backyard and give it alkaline water, bright sunshine, altitude, and some wind. And then we've got this super dry right now. So you've got virtually 0% humidity. And so, and we don't have monsoons coming for another 2-3 weeks. I mean, I'm looking at it right now, that monsoonal pattern, it's over Houston. It's not even at Dallas yet. It's over Houston. So it's got at least 2 to 3 weeks before it gets to us. So it's early July before we see the summer rains coming our way. And you can almost track the storms as it comes out of Mexico and starts that monsoonal rain pattern. Well, you've got to get plants to survive to just limp through until then. And once the rains come, the pressure's off. So the clouds come, humidity increases. It's a whole nother planting season, a whole nother growing season. Fertilize right before the rains come. And whoa, watch those. What you have a shade tree, you want to get some girth on it, it's a real size, it's brand new. You fertilize it again the end of this month, first part of July, and woof, you can get a whole other set of growth on those plants. Vines, if you had a vine, you put some trumpet vines or honeysuckles, and you're trying to cover up a fence, fertilize it at the end of this month, first part of July, right before the rains come, and you can just ignite those things for a whole nother set of growing season. Roses, they've been in bloom. They're starting to they're starting to fade. So you need to deadhead those, get the old spent flowers, fertilized the end of this month, first part of July, and they will have, by the end of July, 1st of August, they will just be covered. They'll be more glorious than even the spring season. It's all about timing. So you just deadhead, fertilize the end of this month, and you will have some of the best flowers of the season, the most fragrance of the season, the second half of the growing season. Roses like to bloom then. And here's the real reason: the bugs aren't out. So right now we've got thrip. If you've been out in the gardens, you feel something biting you, what the heck? What is going on? And something's biting your skin. You don't see anything. That is a thrip, also called a no-see-em, because they're so tiny you can't see the doggone things, but you can sure feel them. And they were terrible this week in my gardens. In fact, I think I'm going to hose down the whole yard with a bug killer. I think I'm going to hose down the whole thing because I'm tired of those things biting me. The dog water, you could see dust floating on top of the water. Those were all thrip. I think it's dry or something. I don't know why they all hatched now, and they're mean. They're biting you. They also get into your roses. We mentioned roses. They'll get inside the rose bud, and it looks as though someone has taken a Bic lighter or blackened the petals. There's only one thing that will cause that, and it is thrip, T-H-R-I-P. Google it. So thrip are, and once they get inside of that flower, there's no way to, you could use some systemic, there's a food with some systemic bug repellent in it. So rose food with systemic is what the name is. You could use some of that, but once the damage starts, there's no way to really recover. Hopefully it's not so bad that they don't open. They just shrivel and die on the vine, basically, or on the stem of the rose. But that's a tough one. Well, the second half of the year, we don't have thrip. We don't have aphids. We just have beautiful roses and nothing to eat them. So the pressure's off. There's some mildew, some other things to watch for, but basically second half, super easy. So anyway, timing is everything. Trees, going back to trees, it's a good time to plant trees. If you're going to plant a tree, go for it. You're good. Make sure you plant it. Just make sure you are staking your trees right now, so that you will get some wind. We get that prevailing southwest wind. It blows all the time, nonstop. It's just always kind of a breeze going through, which is kind of nice. But these plants, they've all leafed out now. And so they're catching every bit of that wind. And so they start to, this unrelenting southwest wind gets those trees to start leaning to the northeast. And so you'll just see in your neighborhood, you can see which trees weren't staked and which ones were. They're all leaning to a certain way. This is really critical for fruit trees. You could put fruit trees, apples in right now, peaches, cherries, apricots, nectarines, plums. You can put them all in right now. But you just need to make sure you stake them, or they'll start leaning to the northeast, and they'll load up next spring with all the, 200 pounds of fruit, 200 pounds of apricots. All of a sudden it just falls over because it's leaning. You want to make sure those fruit trees are perfectly straight and that we groom the scaffolding, so to speak. Waters Garden companion plants for June are sunburst locust, moonshine yarrow, silverberry, and Hall's honeysuckle.
Ideal at growing up fences, walls, or as a ground cover.
Wind, drought, deer, javelina are no problem.
Hall's honeysuckle is an outstanding mountain vine with fragrant yellow flowers that loves blooming in the summer heat.
An excellent solution for fast-growing screen, even in the poorest of soil.
You'll only find the hardiest vines at Waters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott.
For a more fruitful garden, increase success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit watersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Waters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.